Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I may have a fancy job and a nice apartment, but lately something feels missing.
David here. I catch the world's beauty in colors and shapes translates to I'm an artist. It's my way of adding a splash of joy to everything.
Hey there, story lovers. It's your narrator here, ready to spill the tea on Sarah's life. Don't worry, this won't be one of those snooze fests where you reach for your phone after 2 sentences. We're talking fast-paced fun, like a sugar rush without the crash. So, grab a comfy spot, maybe a snack. Bribery for your attention is totally acceptable. And let's dive into Sarah's world. Buckle up, because things are about to get a whole lot less lawyerly and a whole lot more live a little. Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Sarah who lived in a big, busy city. Sarah was a very hard worker. She had an important job as a lawyer and was really good at her job. But even though Sarah was successful, she didn't feel truly happy inside. You see, when Sarah was little, her biggest dream was to be an artist. She loved painting, drawing, writing stories, anything creative. But as she grew up, Sarah started to believe that being an artist wasn't a practical job. So instead of following her heart, she went to law school and became a lawyer instead, like her parents wanted. Even though Sarah made a lot of money and had a fancy job, a part of her always felt like something was missing. She worked such long hours that she didn't have any time for fun or doing the creative things she loved. Sarah had gotten so caught up in her work that she had forgotten how to really live. One gloomy day, Sarah was rushing off to another boring meeting at her law firm, like she did every single day. The rain was pouring down hard and Sarah was already running late. She didn't have an umbrella, and her nice work clothes were getting soaked. Sarah decided to duck into a cozy little coffee shop to get out of the rain. As she hurried inside, trying to brush the raindrops off her jacket, Sarah accidentally bumped right into someone, spilling their hot coffee all over them. "Oh no, I'm so sorry," Sarah cried, looking up at the person she had bumped into. That's when her eyes met the greenest, kindest eyes she had ever seen, which belonged to a man around her age with a warm, friendly smile.
No worries at all. Accidents happen.
The man said with a cherry laugh.
I am David, by the way.
Sarah couldn't help but smile back at David, even though she was still embarrassed about the coffee spill. There was just something about David that made her feel lighter, happier somehow. Like the world wasn't such a dreary place after all. For a moment, Sarah and David both felt like the air had electrified between them. A feeling like being struck by a bolt of lightning. But just as quickly as it happened, the moment passed. Sarah mumbled another quick apology and rushed away to get back to work, doing her best to push the strange encounter out of her mind. But Sarah couldn't forget about David so easily. Over the next few days, she found herself running into him all over the city in the strangest of places. One day she saw him sitting on a park bench, sketching some trees. The next day, he was in the same grocery store as her. Then they even ended up stuck in the same traffic jam. Each time their paths crossed, Sarah felt her face warm up and her heart start beating faster. She couldn't stop thinking about David's kind eyes and warm smile. Sarah found herself actually looking forward to these chance encounters around the city, just so she could catch another glimpse of him. One night, feeling bolder than usual, Sarah decided to strike up a conversation with David when she saw him at a street fair. As they started talking and getting to know each other, Sarah was amazed by how much they had in common. David was a wonderfully talented artist who just loved creating beautiful things and experiencing the world to its fullest. He didn't care about having a boring office job or making a lot of money. David just wanted to live life in a way that felt true to his heart, following his passions and interests wherever they led. Talking to David reminded Sarah of who she had dreamed of becoming when she was a little girl. She realized she had been so busy chasing after success and money that she had completely lost touch with her true self along the way. Sarah started to see that there was so much magic, beauty, and adventure out in the world that she had been blind to while keeping her head stuck in paperwork all day. As the warm summer nights turned into crisp fall days, Sarah and David started spending more and more time together, feeling like reunited soulmates. They would go on long walks through the city, admiring the changing trees and urban art everywhere. They'd visit quirky cafes, bonding over shared love for creative expression and living life to the fullest. Sarah had never met anyone as free-spirited, passionate, and full of life as David. And David had never met someone with such a brilliant mind and kind soul as Sarah, who just needed help rediscovering her spark. Being around David reawakened Sarah's childlike sense of wonder about the world that she had lost long ago. After one particularly enchanting night of roaming the city streets until dawn, Sarah and David found themselves alone in a quiet park as the sunrise peeked over the horizon. Caught up in the beauty of the moment, they impulsively shared a romantic first kiss that left them both dizzy with joy. In that moment, Sarah felt like the weight of 1,000,000 boulders had been lifted off her shoulders. She finally felt free, alive, and deeply connected to her truest self again, all thanks to David's loving spirit. For the first time in years, Sarah knew she was headed down the right path in life. However, just when everything seemed to be falling perfectly into place, Sarah received some shocking news from her law firm. She had been offered an incredible job opportunity in California, a chance to become a partner at one of the most prestigious firms in the entire country. Sarah was overjoyed at first. This was the kind of achievement she had worked her whole life for. But then, she thought of David, and her heart immediately sank. Did this mean she would have to choose between her career dreams and the new life she had found with David? Could she really just walk away from the deep connection they had discovered? With a heavy heart, Sarah went to go break the news to David that she would have to move across the country. But to her surprise, David wasn't angry or heartbroken. In fact, he looked excited. You see, David had recently been offered an opportunity of his own, the chance to go on a nationwide traveling art exhibition to display his beautiful paintings and drawings. David tenderly took Sarah's hands and told her that he couldn't think of anything better than if she came along with him on this adventure. That way, she could pursue her career path while he pursued his artistic passion, and they could experience the beauty of life together in a way they had both longed for. In that moment, Sarah felt like the heavens had opened up and struck her with a bolt of clarity. She didn't have to sacrifice her ambition or her heart's truth after all. By taking this wild chance with David, she could have both. Sarah realized she had been so busy merely existing and checking goals off a list when David had reawakened her to what it means to truly live, to embrace life's unexpected twists and turns, to savor every serendipitous encounter, and to always be open to where her passions and heart lead her. Without a moment's hesitation, Sarah flung her arms around David, tears of joy streaming down her face. She was finally free, and she couldn't wait to embark on this grand adventure of life and love. And so David and Sarah set off together, hand in hand, ready to embrace every serendipitous encounter and moment of magic that the universe would send their way. They don't know exactly what the future holds, but they've never felt more alive or excited to experience it all. The end? Or is it just the beginning?